bartenders exist to serve people.
Yeah.
And you can be both.
Right.
But if you're just a mixologist, then like there's no bartending job where you get to go like in a dark closet and like craft your concoctions and send them through a service window. Like you have to have that social like element. You have to have that ability to get stoked about like, and that's the fun part about it for me. It's like it's not like making the drinks fun. Like it's cool when they make a nice thing, but what you're talking about, where you tell people like what you did in your process, and their eyes light up. Like you made some like ice with watermelon, and that's super cool. And their eyes light up like you just split an atom for the first time. Right.
Did he just invent toast?
That's the most gratifying part for me, man. Just that interaction and getting people stoked. And I think I said this to guests a lot. Like the internet, like kind of ruined everything, like in a great way. Like you can teach yourself how to make a real daiquiri, a real old fashioned, like 5 minutes at home. You got to give your guests so much more reason to come back because we all know how bar prices work. And the Virginia ABC like website exists. Like the guests can figure out how much you paid for that bottle, and like that difference in the cocktail that we know like needs to keep the lights on and like the water running, but you need to give them more of a reason to pay for that cocktail or that beer or whatever the hell it is. Then like the lights are on. That experience, that like cultivation, that just reading people, that interaction is definitely the coolest part to me.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. I think that, just to be honest with you, and then can I just do something real quick?
I guess.
I miss Chris. I miss Chris, man. He's not here right now. I just want to say,
yeah, Chris, you're in our wishes and our thoughts, man.
I love
we
you,
love
dude.
you. We wish you were here.
Chris is actually right now. He has done what I was just about to talk about is that I love bartending. You know what I mean? I love like being responsible for myself, and just that's all I have to worry about. You know what I mean? I worry about myself and then helping the people around me. You know what I mean? Whereas what me and Chris have now done, Chris has joined the ranks of this situation, is like Chris is now opening a very, very incredible place called Mahi Ma's. He's the bar manager there. Their cocktails are looking pretty incredible. I know that place is gonna be crazy busy.
Oh yeah, newest spot on the beach.
Yeah. So he is definitely, he couldn't be here with us here today because he is in opening mode, and it is like, and I know where that is. I've been there multiple times where opening a restaurant is one of the most exciting but stressful situations that you can go through. So just want to say shout out to Chris, and we'll see you tomorrow.
And bon chance with everything that you're doing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
For you.
But he'll definitely be back. Don't you worry.
Yeah, he'll be back tomorrow.
His sexy ass voice will be back on this microphone.
Yeah, I'm definitely not doing that. I don't do it any
I
justice.
don't about the sexy voice. For sure.
I don't either. but the point is like, so now I'm in that role, like like Chris is that managing people, which is it is a difficult thing because your hopes and dreams are that they will believe in the things that you tell them, and then they'll act as you would act. But
unfortunately, people have differing viewpoints or work ethics, and personality.
And it's tough. But the thing is like I have to say that like for me, like I miss the role of being just the bartender and being able to just be that person talking like that. So that breakaway and doing that event was a way for me to just like escape for a day, and then go back to like, hey, like this is great, right? You like this drink, and this is what it's all about. And they're like, oh my god, I love it, But talking about crudo nudo earlier, you are running the beverage program over there now.
Yep, me and Kendra like kind of tag teaming it out.
Yeah. So that is kind of that thing that we were talking about with Josh earlier, where he was 22, right, and he got the opportunity to run a program. So now you have been given that kind of opportunity as well.
Getting there slowly,
Yeah.
Still very much like figuring myself out. It's pretty surreal for like everything to happen as fast as it has, and I've had to put myself in check like a few times. Like I think just about anybody does.
Yeah.
Like, hey, like you don't know anything yet, so start acting like it. Like hit the books harder. Like get back to like. Exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Get back to like the core and get back to like what made you excited, and then you can like lead people and teach people. But you can't do shit unless you're in the right spot. Like and Josh has said this to me so many times, dude. Like if your mission place is not right, if your bar is not shiny, if everything's not ready to go the minute before opening. I actually got sent this really cool exchange that Josh and Greg had, like a text exchange, and it's really long. I'll send it to both of you, but it's basically talking about some of like those concepts and some of like how you react as a leader in the bar scene. How Josh's kind of point was to make it small, like somebody broke something behind him in the middle of a rush, and he reacted in an angry fashion, and it's something that still like sticks on his mind to this day because he doesn't know if that dude ever forgave him.
Right.
He acted out of anger, and like there's more to it. It was like how you can address that situation differently, and then Greg's kind of response to that was along the lines of like everything in place. Everything right, like you're setting the stage, like we talked about. You're giving people more of a reason to come back and drink. So if your purse is on the corner of the bar, you open at 4 and it's 4:01, and that purse is on the corner of the bar, like there's still a dirty rag somewhere. There's still a couple spots in the bar. You're still juicing lemons or whatever. Then you're not doing everything you need to actually make that space a success. And that's, I think, is for me. I would guess for a lot of people, one of the not necessarily hardest, but one of the things you have to keep thinking about most, like transitioning from just being an everyday bartender, because you can do all that stuff and still make service work. You can be a great bartender. You can have like half your crap prepped and still make it work because you're good at like problem solving. I think a lot of us are good at problem solving. It doesn't mean it's a reason to do that, to not have everything, especially once, like you said, you get in your shoes, getting Chris's shoes, where you're not just responsible for that bar anymore. You're responsible for the restaurant. So if one corner of that bar goes down and you're stuck looking at that because of something that you didn't do or didn't instill in your employees or whatever it may be to set up, every other bit of the restaurant's suffering at that point. And it can be a tiny restaurant with a 10-top bar and 3 tables, or it can be a massive spot. It doesn't matter. It all is applicable. It all extrapolates out. So that's something that like very much in the middle of learning is just constantly thinking about the restaurant as a whole, as opposed to just my tiny little spot of it.
Proactive opposed to reactive, I think.
Right. Well, I think that's a big problem too, is a lot of bartenders want to make the money, want to make the drinks, want to socialize, that fun aspect of the job. They don't want to do the prep or the closing.
The cleaning.
Oh, God. And it's so funny because, like, I mean, how many times have you, trained someone that's a new bartender and shit just is not stocked right? Right. It's not prepped right. And you have to sit them down and be like, look, I know it's not the fun part of the job. Yeah. But it's still your job.
It is the job.
It is the job. Right. Like, we're in the business of making money, but it's also a business that needs to run. Right. And that's the problem. Yeah.
No, 100%. It's so funny. So I always refer back to Yard House, but I was there for a long time. And
it's a good example because it's a corporate establishment that's well run, and it's a well-oiled machine. It really is. You know what I mean? They train well. Yep. Knowledge is there. Sorry, I can continue.
But But the cleanliness thing. Back to the every night.
Oh yeah,
I remember Lauren Kotzka.
Miss Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren. Lauren's awesome. Yeah. Shout out to Lauren. Good. Love you,
I don't even know you, Lauren, but I want to.
Yeah. She's at the Shack now, actually. It's kind of crazy.
Oh, really?
She started working there just before I left. But the thing is, I remember training Lauren to be, she was a server, then aspired to be a bartender, and then she gets back there, I'm training her, and then, it's all, oh, this is fun, we're making drinks, and then it's like, okay, now we have to break down the bar and clean it. And then it's like, 4 hours. What? I was like, she's like, every night? I'm like, every night. She's like every night? I'm like,
every night.
Every night we do this.
Every night.
Every night. Every tap handle. This whole tower. All down here. Everywhere. Everything. We wipe down everything.
Yep. Mopping, bleaching, all of it.
55-seat bar, man. You got to clean the whole thing up, man. And it's a big-ass bar. And then stuff gets splashed everywhere, stuff like that. But, yeah, so it was a hard lesson, not just for Lauren. I just remember Lauren was the one I can remember just saying to her, like, every night. We do this every night. You got to keep it clean.
And it's easy to lose sight of that, especially, as a bartender, say you're making $200, $300, $400, $500 a night. Right. You have a slow-ass night. You're stuck there all night. Ugh. And you still have to clean. Yeah. And you know what I mean? And then that's where that anger comes in from that bartender. It's like, I'm not going to mop the floor tonight, or I'm not going to wipe all this down. I didn't even use it.
Still got to do it.
Still got to do it. Sorry.
So and it's so, having that corporate structure and all that stuff, I have worked at the places, like we said earlier. I've been through the spectrum, you know what I mean? And then, not talking shit about Harpoon Larry's because it's like, what do we say in that one episode? It's like a Virginia Beach staple or something, but holy shit, man. Like this was like 10 years ago. I started working there 10 years ago. And it was disgusting. Like they didn't care about anything.
It was disgusting 10 years ago.
I'm sure they've changed their ways. This is not a Yelp review or anything.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, still a great place if you're listening.
I heard that they've changed their ways and it's totally clean now and everything's great. So I'm not trying to slander them. But when I was there, when I got there 10 years ago, like it was like, oh God. And then I started to clean it, and I it was such a daunting task to get that thing to back to okay. Then I gave up, and then I quit like a month later. It was like I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But so the routine is everything. The idea that you're gonna just not care, like you said, and just not be ready and all that stuff. Like it doesn't work. It's not a good thing.
And the beautiful thing is, I mean, like anything in life, the more you do something and the longer you do something, the better you get at it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, like as bartenders, I know I speak for myself. Probably you guys, your first close by yourself. You were probably there for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, oh, shit, I still need to do the bottles, blah, 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 whatever, the floor.
Right.
But by your 20th close, all of a sudden, you're like halfway done before last call's even ready.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean?
You get a system down.
You get a system down.
Yeah.
You just have to keep going through the motions.
What are you talking about with, like, important to state, like, definitely still learning it for myself. Definitely still learning that, maybe not learning, but, like, keeping myself reminded of it, like, baby bartender for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Like, still earning my stripes, still learning.
No, but I love
process.
that you're saying that, though, Tyler, because, like, I bring it up probably on every fucking episode. I'm sorry to say it again, but we all have room to improve.
Yes.
It doesn't matter where you are in your
Yes.
job. You can always improve. Like you were mentioning, I didn't know shit about wine.
Right.
You can still learn. Like, we were talking about White Claw earlier. There is always something coming out every year that you may not know anything about.
Right.
Take 5 minutes.
That's why it's interesting. You're never
Read
done.
about it. You're never done. It's like the health field, man. Like there's always new shit coming out. Like real talk.
Talking about what you were talking about with Harpoon Larry's, like you said, what you said you came in and it was crazy. It was built up over years, and then what I really heard is you got burnt out and you went in like. Maybe excited to like give it a new chance. Maybe excited to, and then like you're human, you burn out. It was too much for one man or two men or whatever you had at the time, and you quit. Like
I did. I said
it's so.
Fuck this job.
It's literally what you were talking about with with Yard House, like 55 top bar, man. Like stuff gets splashed everywhere.
Yeah.
If you don't do it every night, it's the same crap your mom tells you, like about cleaning your room. It's so much easier to upkeep and maintain and keep things than it's like, oh, you let it build up for a month, and then nobody in their right mind's gonna want to do that job, and that's when it starts spiraling out of control because like, oh, it built up for a month, and now we're tired, so we're gonna do 90% of the cleaning, and that 10% never gets done.
Right.
Add that on. That's when you wind up crazy spots that have like 3 inches of grease on the floor because you got a bunch of tired dudes that are like still trying to keep up from like the last decade's worth of not cleaning.
Or I mean, you guys definitely know this from Yard House, like me from Gordon Biersch. When those lines aren't cleaned, how much gunk do you get out of the pour spouts?
Oh yeah,
like the beer tap. Sorry,
you have
if they haven't been cleaned, and you can tell immediately. You're like, this wasn't done last night.
No,
you just know as soon as you pour a beer
for a few days,
Yeah,
because inside that spout, man, that yeast buildup.
That yeast builds up, and it looks like a damn booger.
It does.
Sorry, listeners, but real talk, just know that we clean the shit out of our bars.
We do. Yeah. Some of them
takes a lot of maintenance.
It does.
And like big shout out to like you talked about like me getting into it very fast. Kitchen work, man. Like I'm so lucky. I spent I've been in the restaurant industry for like 9 years now.
Yeah.
About equal parts of that in the like the kitchen side of things, which help service side, help concepts of flavor. Like got lucky once again with the mentors I had that like taught me like understand why a recipe works, not just that it does work.
Right.
You're going to put it together, but more than anything, like keeping a tight run ship. Like especially when it came over to bartending, serving. You're kind of all over the place. Like all your tools are all over the place. Man, bartending's a line. Bartending is a chef line that you have in front of you. You have this ingredient here, this bottle here, this there, and we all know like the faster you can make drinks, the faster you can make money. And it all comes back. Things are clean, things are in the right spot. Like little stupid stuff that's easy to forget, like labels and things like that. It's not about like, none of us, I don't think any of us are keeping blueberry puree in the back of the cooler long enough for it to go moldy.
Yeah.
I can pick this up and real quick know it's blueberry puree and not have to think about it. It's in the right spot. It's why bars get picky about like where your well spirits are. Like, I want this here. You don't want to have to think about it. And it's just keeping that up, and then we all make more money.
What's the French term?
Mise en place, something like that. I can never pronounce it right.
He can.
Do it.
Mise en place.
There we go. Yeah. But yeah, so everything in its place, right?
So American.
Yeah.
No. Well, I grew up in France.
Yeah, that's right. I was trying to dish it up to him. Well, okay, so you've been bartending now for 2 years. You said
about 2 years. There was probably a lull in between after when I left Twist. I tried to find a job for a while. But yeah, somewhere around that range.
So what's your goal from here, as far as bartending goes? Are you using it as like a stepping stone into something else, or is this something that you think that like you're going to go the distance?
So it's hard